Well, greetings, good evening. It's a late one. It's like 9:15 here in Nashville, but I thought tonight um, I would share with you just something I've been kind of learning, something I've been researching, something I've been paying attention to. If you're here, let me know in the comments. Say, I'm here, Terry. Especially if you're here live. Say, I'm here live. I'd love to know that you're here live. Um, and if you have questions or whatever about this topic, as we kind of go through, I'd love to hear your questions. But yeah, give me some thumbs. Share with your friends. If you know anyone that this would be helpful to, anyone that you know that's kind of struggling to figure out what to do. I had a pretty crazy week last week, working with entrepreneurs, working with high-level leaders, being around some of my friends. We had a handful of them over for a social distancing barbecue, where everybody washed their hands and hand sanitized and stayed a safe distance apart. But we got here. Diana, thank you for watching. We were here, and I've noticed some things lately. One of the things that you notice when you're a leader, you start to kind of notice trends. And you start to notice those trends and kind of the people you work with. And yes, if you're watching and you're like, where is Terry? I'm in my dining room tonight. I did an in-person podcast last week down here because my office looks like a nuclear bomb went off on it. And it's because I'm building out a studio up there. And we did it down here. And so I wanted to kind of share with you guys these kind of 7 things. And they're really in no magic order or anything, or no like special juju to the order that they're in, but they're thoughts that I'm having. And I've had 2 or 3 friends that have challenged me and said, Terry, you need to go live more often. And I don't like a schedule. I kind of like the ability. What I love the most about Facebook Live is my ability just to come on here when I have something to say. So I've got something to say, so I'm going to say it. But here I think are the 7 things, and bust out your arm or Evernote or something to write these down. And I'd love to kind of know as they're coming where you're kind of at on this matrix. If you feel like, man, that's something I'm killing it at, or I'm like, man, I need help on this one. So I'd love if you, in the comments, just as when you're going. The first one was going to be the last one, but I wanted it to be first. They don't believe in a magic pill. My most successful friends aren't looking for a magic pill. They aren't looking for the next hack. They aren't looking for the magic thing that's going to follow these 2 easy steps and this will happen. They are willing to do the work. And I know a lot of times and by all means, guys, we all want to be effective, right? We all want to do things that allow us to be the most effective. But when you're looking for a magic pill, you're looking for a shortcut that often isn't going to do anything, but actually slow down your path to success. And those people that I know that are the most successful aren't wasting their time trying to find some magic solution. They just do the work. Anyone else feel like that? Anyone else feel like they're nailing that? Anyone else feel like they're struggling with that? And if you're catching the replay, let me know you're watching the replay. I'd love to know about it. And if you think there's anybody that you know that could use this, I would please share it. I'd love it if you'd share it with your friends. Here's the one that we spent a lot of time on last week, bringing a lot of people through this process. But they have clarity. Number 2, clarity. They're really clear about who they serve, who they are, really specifically who they are. Not like a general, like I serve people or I serve youth, but really specific about the people you serve, and you know a lot about them. Here's what I also, and I'm talking about like knowing so well, like as my friend Roberto, who actually kind of really inspired me to get on tonight, that you're able to stalk them like a crazy ex-girlfriend would. When you know your audience so well, as I just had a puberty voice change there. How about that? I promise I'm not going through that. But they know exactly who they serve. They know where they shop, what they like, what they do, the things they love, the things that matter the most to them. And when you get to know your audience that well, you're able to serve them better. Which is why, as I begin to know you guys and to get more clarity myself around who I serve, I know this is something that you guys want. I know you want to know the difference between success and not succeeding. Bob Goff, I watched the live that Bob Goff did. Bob Goff is launching his new book tomorrow on launching your dreams. And obviously, you guys know that's a subject that I'm super passionate about. But Bob said something that really triggered kind of this whole thinking today, and even like a project Leslie and I, my wife, have been working on together. We spend so much time trying to figure out our lists. And here's the deal. The list is pretty inconsequential to you getting it done. What makes the list get done is if you know why you're doing it. If you understand your why. If you understand the consequences that happen if you don't do it. And those consequences for other people. Those consequences for yourself. Take Sean Groves, a guy that I've known. We used to go to church together. But Sean Groves works with an organization called Compassion International. Right? And if Sean doesn't do the work that he does, literally, kids don't get fed. There's consequences to his inaction. And when you know the why and you have clarity on the who and the why, and there's a few other steps to clarity, but I wanted to really just touch with that. The number 2, they have clarity. 3, their mindset is clear. Their mindset is super clear. They have an abundance mindset. They have an abundance mindset versus a scarcity mindset. They think in abundance. They don't think that check that they got today is the last one that they are going to receive. They think out of abundance, and they give out of abundance. They serve out of abundance. And many of us, we are trying to serve out of an empty jar. But when you serve out of the overflow, when you serve out of your abundance, man, amazing things happen in your life. And that happens because of mindset. And mindset is something, sometimes you can get that figured out on your own. Sometimes, in order to get your mind clear, and that's what I witnessed around in my house last week, around a table, talking with leaders, some of the speakers that speak at the thing. In fact, all of them around the table, except for one, were speakers for the thing, past or present or future. And what's super interesting is sometimes we need help to get our mindset clear. Sometimes we need help to get clarity. Even in the highest level performing people. One of those people that was around the table just hopped on. Angus, thanks for coming. I was actually just talking about you in a non-talking about you way. Here's number 4, and this one may offend you, and I'm okay with that. I'm realizing that I'm not for everyone, and even the way that I'm going to say this may offend some of you, and you'll probably get over it. And if you won't, oh well. There's a country song, and if you know anything about me, guys, I'm a rock and roll guy. Maybe a little bit of pop, but country is really not my thing, except for Garth Brooks, who I think is the biggest rock star in history, one of the biggest rock stars in history. But there's a song by an artist named Jody Messia, and the idea behind this song is "My Give a Damn is busted." Successful people don't give a D. They are not caught up on everyone else's opinion about their life. Unsuccessful people spend all of their time trying to make everyone happy. You can't make everyone happy. You can't serve everyone. The more you try to make everyone happy, the less happy you will be. I promise you. I've tried this. I've tried to serve everybody. I've tried to make everyone happy, and it only made me unhappy. Because at the end of the day, I want to be happy. I want to love what I do. I want to wake up in the morning freaked out and excited because I get to do what I get to do. Successful people aren't losing. My friends that are doing better than my friends that aren't doing better, they're not losing sleep over anyone else's opinion. Number 5, they understand that their time is valuable. And this is the big one, guys. Time. Time is the only resource in your life that you can't get more of. Think about that with me for a second. Time is the only resource in your life that you can't get more of. If you run out of money, you could go get more money. If you run out of food, you could go get more food. If you run out of patience, most of the time you could get more of that. But if you run out of time, because eventually all of our time runs out, you can't get more of it. Successful people truly understand how valuable their time is. And this goes really into the next one. They don't try to do it alone. And because your time is valuable, you realize that there are some things that you're just not good at. There are some things that you can do. You know what? I can build a website. I'm a pretty good graphic designer. I can own Canva almost any day of the week. But I'm realizing that that's not the best use of my time. David Dollar, if you missed 1 through 4, I'll go back through them. But I leave my replays up so you guys can go back and watch them. And I really would encourage you because they're all good. They're all things I've really thought through. When you understand that your time is valuable, you give it to things that are the most important to you. You don't let your time get taken up by people who don't value it. I'm super generous with my time with other people. I'm probably more generous than I should be with my time. But there's also things that I'm coming to a place at that I'm not doing anymore. I'm building teams and building people and helping people build a business so they can help me and I can help them so we can all succeed, so we all do what only we can do. Because kind of the sub line to this is when you understand your time is valuable, you spend a lot more time in your zone of genius. And this is where I think having people around you, and obviously there's tons of free stuff out there, guys. And I put out a podcast almost every week as best I can. I'm trying to go live a lot more, and I like going live at this hour just because I'm a night owl, and I know people have, for the most part, like we literally just got finished eating dinner, and so this is a time when I normally have a little bit of time before I kind of go into my like workflow for the night to get a few things done. But here's number 6 is they don't go alone. And you guys have heard me, if you've listened to me ever on here, if you've read Making Elephants Fly, my book, which, by the way, is selling off the shelves this week, thanks to my good friend Jeff Barnes. Let me do a guest blog over on his website. And people are buying my book that I have no idea who they are, and that's awesome. And I'm realizing I need to do more of that because, spoiler alert, blogging's not dead. People just thought it was. And I didn't create new content for that. I didn't write anything new. I took an excerpt from my book and literally wrote a paragraph mainly talking about Jeff because he let me have this space. And successful people, here's a bonus one that comes into this. They know how to leverage relationships. They have a lot of relationships. They are networked. They have connections. And guys, people are what multiplies your influence. Relationships are what multiplies your influence. And many of you know that I run mastermind groups. I have 2 kinds of mastermind groups. I'm going to be launching a membership site later, hopefully really soon in the next month or so. But when I do that, the price of being in my mastermind groups is probably going to almost double. And so if you've ever thought about being in a mastermind group with Terry Weaver and being in a group of people, which many of the people that are in this feed are plugged into one of my mastermind groups, now is the time to do it. Now is the time to slide into my DMs and say, Terry, I want to know, I don't want to do this alone. I know I need help. I know I need to be around people who make me better. That's why I created mastermind groups. That's why I created the thing. In fact, those of you who are thinking of coming to the thing, VVIP tickets are about 40% sold out. And if people keep telling their friends about it, the VVIP tickets are going to be sold out. And what we're going to be doing in the VVIP that I haven't even told anybody we're doing, it's going to be a game changer. The last thing, number 7, is they have a bias for action. They have a bias for action. So a lot of people come to me and say, Terry, man, I have a hard time coming up with ideas. I have a hard time coming up with new ideas and knowing what to do. So I believe that this bias for action comes down also to abundance, believe it or not. They have an abundance of ideas, but that abundance for ideas is also followed by great stewardship because there's an abundance of action tied to those ideas. When you haven't, like right now, like I even use that principle. I had 7 things in my head. I walked in the door. I went to go get groceries tonight. I came in the door. I wrote these down and said, after dinner, I'm going to go live. And had I not done that, had I not made a list, I wouldn't have done it. But I knew that if I took action, if I set myself up to succeed, I would. If you take your ideas and quit just having ideas and actually act on them, man, you'll be incredibly successful. Because here's the deal. Most ideas, as you build your business and as you grow your team, and this has been my ceiling. I have only had ideas that their success or failure depended on me. And right now I'm moving into a phase where I only have ideas that require me to take an action that somebody else or a group of people can follow through on continuing that action following through. That's it. So I'm going to go through the list one more time. If you missed the notes for David Dollar, who came late, and some of you who are getting late to class, because I didn't announce this. I didn't tell anybody I was going to do it. Number 1, no magic pill. They just do the work. They're not looking for an easy solution. They're not looking for shortcuts. They're not looking for 4 hacks to have a great sales funnel. They just get it done. Number 2, this is the biggest one. This is the one where everybody's goofing up. Successful people have clarity. They know who they serve, and they know why they do it. They know. Like super clear. You go to them and they can tell you, I serve this person who does this, who lives here, and they know why they do what they do. They have a really strong why. Because here's the deal with when you really have, and I know this has been a buzzword, and I get it. Simon Sinek did the TED Talk like 10 years ago. But here's the reality. That principle hasn't changed. It's only gotten more important. I was even thinking of Home Depot versus Lowe's. Does anybody in the comments know what the slogan of Home Depot is? Does anyone know what the slogan of Lowe's is? I'll wait a second because we're on a delay. If you know what the slogan of Home Depot or the slogan of Lowe's when you watch that commercial, anybody have a guess or know what it is? This is where I need like Jeopardy music to hold on it. Okay, I'll tell you. So Home Depot is running a series of commercials that actually tells you why people respond to this. Their slogan that I've heard on 1,000 commercials lately is where doers get stuff done. where doers get stuff done. Who doesn't want to go somewhere? And that's Home Depot. Who doesn't want to go somewhere where doers get stuff done? Lowe's is you can do it. We can help. And in reality, all they're really doing is helping me spend more money and bringing stuff home that I don't know how to do, that I just end up calling my mom or hiring a handyman to actually fix. Now I just skip that whole process, go pull up, have them put it in my back, and call someone over to fix it, because that's where my skill set is. But Home Depot knows that their audience, their buyer, has a bias fraction, which goes back to later in it. Number 3, they have a mindset. They have an abundance mindset, not a scarcity mindset. Number 4, their give a damn is busted. They stopped caring about what everyone else thinks, what everyone else does, what everyone else's opinion of them are. Number 5, they understand that their time is valuable. And because they understand that they spend more time in their zone of genius and less time doing everything else that isn't that. Number 6, they don't go alone. You know the African proverb that says, if you want to go far, go together. But if you want to go fast, go alone. And when you look into that, this is one of my favorite stories of Making Elephants Fly. Because when you put a quote like that in the book, you want to go find out the backstory. And the reality, the backstory of that quote is that if you want to go far in the African savannah, you better go with somebody else. Because you don't have to be the fastest gazelle. You just don't want to be the slowest gazelle. But if you want to go fast, which means you better be fast if you go alone. You better be fast if you go alone. And number 7, lastly, they have a bias for action. They focus on getting things done. They have an abundance of ideas, and I know most of you are creative. You have no trouble coming up with ideas, but the problem is your ideas just pile up. It's like a backlog. They also have an abundance of action. They take action. Well, guys, I hope this was super helpful to you. I would love it if you would consider attending my event, The Thing, in November. We're going to do our dangest to do that event on some level. If we have to build a bunker to have The Thing in underground, that's probably what we'll do. Because I know people need to be together. If you're on the fence about joining one of my masterminds, if you're thinking that's something you need to do, now's the time to do it because the price is going up and it's never going to come down. In fact, I've only got a few slots, and then I'm probably just going to lock those down and not take them anymore. Because the long-term plan is you may get to come in a mastermind, but I won't personally be leading it. Because my time is valuable, and I only have so much of it. So thank you guys for watching tonight. I hope you got something out of this. Many of you guys have encouraged me to do more of these. I try to keep these in the 25 to 30 minute range, and we're about the 25-minute range. If anybody has any questions, for some reason the program I use isn't letting me put anything you say on the screen. Paul Turner, thank you for coming, man. Yeah, and that's a Jody Messia song, Paul, if you weren't here when I said that. So if you want to go get the song, it's a pretty funny song. But man, when you stopped caring what other people think, when you stopped staying up late at night worrying about someone else's opinion for your life, man, you're happier, you're less stressed. Yeah, Diana, don't call me Uncle Terry Weaver. That's just creepy. It makes it sound like I live in a van by the river, and I don't do that. Yeah, so I guess no one has any questions. Bottom line, guys, is I want to see you guys all join. If you're watching, you join that list of people that are like, man, doing exactly what they love and bumping up their revenue and bumping up their influence and actually achieving. Because all of the people that are doing these things during the pandemic, their business has grown. Their audience has grown. Their impact has grown. Their influence has grown. The people who are worried about the opposite of this, the people who are looking for magic pills, the people that aren't clear, the people who have issues with their mindset, the people who spend all their time caring about other people, the people that don't value their time, the people who are trying to go alone, and the people who don't do anything, During the pandemic, you know what their life has done? It's gotten worse. And so these are principles, and I could literally we could go through a list of people, and I could tell you approximately how much they made, and every one of them that's over six figures is nailing all 7 of these things. Most of the people that aren't. And we all have room to improve, right? Like, I want to get better. I want to do more. Because in reality, if 2020 has taught us anything, it's nothing is safe, nothing is secure, and time is really short. There are people in ICU beds right now fighting for their life because of this stupid virus that ended up over here. There are people right now struggling with really big things. There are African-American moms who are afraid to let their son or daughter go to the grocery store at night because they don't feel safe. They're not sure if they're going to come home. There's what's happening in Seattle. There's what's happening in Chicago with over 70 people shot last weekend. Guys, the world is very broken. And if you have hope, if you have knowledge, you're a jerk if you're not doing these things and taking action on why you're here. Because the world needs you. The world needs your thing. We need what you're doing now more than we've ever needed it. So stop being a jerk and get your stuff done, and let's all grow together. Let's make an impact on the world together. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good night.